tranquility, let's spare a moment and remember our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters around the world who are suffering. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestow His infinite mercy and blessings upon the entire Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. As you all may be aware, as parents or as children, we are going through a calamity or a test or a trial in the form of relationships which our children are forming with the opposite gender. So for example, you might have a son or a daughter who wishes to marry a certain individual, and in some cases parents are being an obstacle, for whatever reason, refusing to allow the marriage, using excuses such as, they're not from our caste, or he's not rich enough, or something like that. And in many cases, the parents are right, because in Islam, you can't force your children to get married, but you can, as parents, encourage them or convince them to get married to a certain person of your liking. But with regards to this, I know of, the reason why I've chosen to speak about this is I know of many individuals. For example, there's a brother, for 6 years he was seeing this girl, and he's been telling his parents, I want to marry her, and the parents refused. They tried their best to get him to marry one of his first cousins, and he just didn't accept. But for 6 years they were seeing each other. May Allah forgive them. God knows what haram they must have committed together. But because of the parents, and at the end what happened? He married the same girl after 6 years. So, and my childhood friend, I remember he liked this girl. He actually jumped over into her garden, and in the night got her out of the bedroom window, and they ran off. They ran away from home. The parents called the police, whatever, brought her back home. But at the end, few years later, he got married to the same girl. Now he's got, mashallah, 5 kids. So the parents were the reason why these children are committing haram. If the parents, again, I'm not saying parents are wrong. Parents are 100% right. No parent wants wrong for their children. Every parent wants the right, what is best for their children. But sometimes you have to understand. You have to understand. And with regards to the children, one thing, the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lies in the pleasure of your parents. You can't displease your parents. Your parents don't want wrong for you. But to summarize, because I don't have much time, I've only got a few minutes. To summarize, what should we do as parents and what should we do as children? Now, if you like a particular girl and you wish to marry her, or the girl likes a particular boy and she wants to marry him, what should you do? Simple, and we have this beautiful remedy, and we have this beautiful, a beautiful thing that we can use, and inshallah, it will solve your problems not only in this dunya but also the akhirah. As we all know, when Jibreel alayhi salam used to come with the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the verses of the Quran, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to teach the companions, may Allah be pleased with all of them. Now, the way Prophet ﷺ would teach the companions the ayahs of the Quran, Prophet ﷺ taught them something else as well. And this is called istikhara. What is istikhara? Istikhara is you praying to Allah and saying, so whether it's a particular person you want to marry, whether it's a new business you're starting, whether you want to migrate to a different country, whatever it may be, anything that you want to do, perform the istikhara. What is istikhara? Simple. You pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you make a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you say to Allah, you acknowledge, you say, Allah, you know and I don't know. What is good for me? So for example, in the case of a girl wants to marry this boy. Now she doesn't know. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, a year later, a month later, 10 years later. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. So what you do is you submit yourself to Allah. You say, Allah, if marrying this boy is good for my this dunya and my akhirah, bless me in this marriage. Make this marriage possible for me and make it easy. But Allah, if he is not good for my this dunya and my akhirah, distance him from me, get him away from me, and give me that which is good for my this dunya and my akhirah. You pray. As if you want to marry someone, or if your children come to you and say we want to marry, so you perform istikhara. Is this child, is this boy or this girl good for my child in this dunya and the akhirah? If it is, make this marriage possible. If not, once you perform your istikhara, now there's differences of opinion, but the one I follow, you pray 2 units of nafil with the intention of performing Salatul Istikhara. You pray and you have that your need or what you're doing it for in your mind when you're doing this niyyah. You perform your 2 units like you perform any other prayer. So for example, Allahu Akbar, read Surah Al-Fatiha, read Surah Kafirun in the first unit. In your second unit, read Surah Al-Fatiha and Surah Ikhlas. Once you've completed your prayer, raise your hand, send salutations on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. And there's a dua called, you can Google this. It begins with Allahumma inni astaghfiruka, meaning I'm doing istikhara, Allah. And you're saying to Allah, and you've got your need in your heart and your mind. You're saying, Allah, if this is good for me, bless me. And if it's not, keep it away from me. And you perform this. And inshallah, what will happen? Allah will turn your heart firm onto whatever you've done. This is for, so you want to marry this girl? Allah will make your heart firm. If she is not good for you, Allah will remove her from your heart. If you don't have any of these signs, keep performing Salatul Istikhara up to 7 days. Do it 7 days, and inshallah, if you don't see any signs, you try your best, get the whole world to come and get you two married. Allah won't allow it to happen. And if it happens, it was good for you in this dunya and the akhirah. So let's stop our children from committing haram as parents. And children, before you start rebelling against your parents, perform your istikhara. Perform your istikhara. Ask Allah if she's or he's good for you in this dunya and the akhirah. And then approach your parents in a good way. Allow your parents to perform istikhara on your behalf as well. And inshallah, we will have a good society, and the children that are produced, inshallah, will be produced free from any haram. Because when the children come from haram, relationships, then you know what will happen. They're going to spread haram. They're going to do acts of haram, and the society is ruined due to this. May Allah protect us. May Allah allow us to follow these teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gathered us here, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gather us all in Jannatul Firdaus, in the neighborhood of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa ma alayna illa al-balagh.